sitting there, kind of being ignored. Why wouldn't you just introduce me to everybody here?
Hi, brother. What's up? Look at Kayla.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Talking to you guys about Love After Lockup, talking about Jessica and Maurice, and talk about Quaylon and Chevelle as well. Guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for a notification of the uploads. For those of you who are returnees, and you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals, you got the minerals, yeah. Alright, let's get into the video, let's talk about it. So obviously talking about Jessica and Maurice, what I found interesting obviously was this, is that it's a very simple issue and it can resolve very easily, okay? But these are little things that happen in relationships that break people because it's the little things that count. Look, a roof doesn't cave in overnight. It's the little tiles that are missing. And suddenly, before you realize it, the whole roof has caved in, okay? Now, dealing with Jessica and Maurice here is very interesting. They're trying to make things work. They're meant to be in Vegas. She's already got a house in Vegas. She's ready to start up life there. Compton is dangerous, and I would agree. Compton is this dangerous, seemingly from the outside as well, right? When you grow up in London, it's the same thing. You realize that London's not that scary for you, but if you're coming from the outside, London looks kind of mad. All right, cool. So what's really interesting here is that obviously they go to visit his, his baby mother's house to go and see his daughter. And I think what's really interesting here is the fact that, one, the daughter's reaction to him.
What's up, baby? What's up, baby? What's up, baby?
The way the daughter ran and hugged him says to me that at least either his daughters have got great energy forever, or he has done some good things in his daughter's life, and that even though he was away for a little while, he still spent time trying to at least get to know his daughter, and actually make an effort for his daughter. That definitely showed. We saw a few pictures on there as well. So obviously that's evident because of the way she ran to collect him. She's not estranged. She's not far away from him. She ran to him like she knew this guy inside out, and that was her dad. All right. I rate also as well Jessica for keeping an open relationship with Maurice's daughter, because I think she mentioned that she does speak to Maurice's daughter on the phone, Michaela, and if that's the case, fantastic. That's great work to do.
I mean, it really ain't no feeling to explain because it's beyond happiness.
I mean, you're building a bond and building bridges between yourself and that daughter because you are in love with the man that you're in love with the daughter's man. Do you know what I mean? You're in love with the father of that child that you're talking to, and that's what it shows as well. A person who's trying to at least create a narrative of solidarity, love, and a safety zone, which is like, look, I'm just like your father. I'm here to support you, love you, give you as much attention as you need. I'm building that bridge with you so that it's not awkward, okay? And that was good to do that. They've done that work beforehand. Love the way that Michaela, and she asked for a hug from Michaela. Michaela came, hugged her, felt like no other way. She didn't hug her in an awkward way. Didn't hug her like she was scared. She hugged this woman like, you know what, you're good peoples, right? For me, that's a good sign. That's good psychological signs that we're seeing behavior that is showing that the person trusts who they're in front of, right? Cool. And then I thought it was interesting as well because when he got into the house, we saw obviously the fact, the comfortability of him being able to talk with the family of the baby's mother. Saw how comfortable he was sitting down. He didn't feel out of place. The issue was that there was no formal, it didn't seem like there was any formal introduction of who his missus is to, his baby's mother, right? And the truth of the matter is this: if she was coming in with you, you then had a duty to introduce.
Really awkward because no one's talking to me.
See, Erica, she about to be a lawyer.
No, she not.
Man, she's staying in San Diego.
If you were leaving in a car, you wouldn't have to introduce. The truth of the matter is, the moment you allowed her to come with you into the house, you had a duty as an individual to introduce. Now, I'm a person who's rubbish at introducing. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel shy, I feel nervous introducing people to other people. I don't know why. It's just something that's in me. I'll probably have to deal with that another time, but it's something in me. So I can understand where potentially someone could do the exact same. But after a while, you have to take responsibility. If the person now you're dating feels a way about the fact she wasn't introduced into the family, or at least spoken to or brought forth and said, hey, look, this is my partner. I've come to visit you guys, but this is my partner. I want to bring her in because I wanted her to be a part of the family because she's part of me, you know, and two become one. So if you see her, you see me. If you see me, you see her. So understand that, right? But none of that happened. He ended up chilling on the side by his baby mother and his child. Another thing what's interesting is that the baby mother had the audacity, the confidence, the sweetness, yeah, the kahunas to touch his hair, you know, and say, oh, you still got that good hair, blah, 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 etc., right? And I'm sorry, that could have been very, 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 you know, awkward and, I guess, disrespectful towards his current partner, right? Now, I'm not expecting him to go mad and check, you know, his baby mother, but it is something to hint at and be like, bro, like, yo, you didn't really regulate or set pace, or we didn't see it at least. Maybe a conversation after, like, look, do you know what? Maybe not grab my hair like that because it might make her feel uncomfortable. I know you're just playing and being your usual self, but let me just be honest, like, my partner may not be comfortable with that. Yeah, that's a smart man who knows how to catch things before the fire starts. Yeah, because the fact that she was reaching over to.
You got great hair?
What? For sure.
Oh, man.
Come on, man.
Grab your hair was a bit much. I was like, blood, is she your man? Or is that your girl? Is that your girl over there? Blood, let me know, because the way she just touched your head like that and said you still got that good hair was a problem for me. You know, you know, and then obviously, you know, Jessica made a point that, you know, she was used to dating and visiting him alone. So I guess sharing him now with not just his daughter, but the you know, daughter's mother as well, can be a little bit heavy. And that is, I mean, if you are the person who's obviously got a partner who has got another kid elsewhere, yes, you're going to be fighting for attention, you're going to be fighting to feel validated, and, you know, especially in a situation like this, you're going to want him to make sure that, you know, you're number one priority, even in the midst of the fact that, you know, he's here for his daughter. It's letting people know that, courtesy-wise, I'm with somebody else, yeah? So respect them the way he's saying respect me. But the moment that he didn't, the fact that he ignored her, his Mrs. Jessica, in front of everybody else, what do you think everyone else is going to do? Everyone else is going to do the exact same way. So you set the tone, you set the precedence, you set the running ahead, you set the pace, basically. And so if you don't do it, no one else will, right? If you don't set the tone, most people won't.
That's not awkward. I shouldn't even gone in.
It's for my daughter.
I understand that. I know.
Because they're not going to overstep your rule. They're going to wait for you to do it and then be like, okay, let me introduce myself, right? So that's important as well. And so I think I understood her tears and her frustration in the car. What she really was trying to say, listen, my friend, it was awkward. You made me feel awkward. You made me feel like I wasn't part of the team. And that maybe made her feel like, you know what, maybe she felt a bit insecure. Maybe she felt like, yo, I don't think this is going to be for me. Like, I don't think, you know, you really want to see myself, you know, flourish with you. Maybe you don't want me. Maybe you want your baby mother still. You know, maybe now you see your baby mother, you want her instead. That could be an option as well. You know what I'm saying? So you have to think of it in terms of, it's not just the fact that they didn't introduce, it's the fact that what it can imply, what it can insinuate, right? Because none of the family was actually talking to her either. They end up living in some house as well in Compton. I thought, you know what? First of all, the house looked cramped in the sense of the fact that we saw the girlfriend, we saw the kids as well, and then adding them two in there. So I don't know how many bedrooms it got, but it may have been a little bit cramped. It's also in Compton. She's not feeling very safe. She's not feeling in her own space. This will definitely amp up the feelings of frustration and actually could potentially lead to a potential argument for both of them in the future, because the frustration is building. Why is it building? Because obviously you as an individual person may feel a certain type of way about the fact you're not having your own freedom and space to actually have a conversation with your man without other people hearing about it. You know, you may feel like you're not having your own space to do whatever you want to do. You can't come in and go at any time. You don't have that freedom because you're living underneath the rules of somebody else, and therefore it can make you feel constrained, restrained, and that can then put further pressure on you in your relationship, make you snapping, make you annoyed, make you be bitey, and make you feel like, you know what, you don't care about me. But really and truly, it's actually starting from the fact that you feel cramped, you feel isolated where you are, your family's all back in Vegas, not here. So all of that can play a part in how you feel. It can play into the trouble that you're going to receive. We see that when he goes to the shop with, you know, when he goes to the shop with Jessica, that someone asks him, where you from, kid? You know what I'm saying? What you saying, homie, where you from, kid? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, And then obviously, so the person made a gun sign or whatever. And that must be scary for Jessica. That must be quite nerve-wracking. If you've never experienced clickety clack clack from somebody saying they're gonna do you one, fam, you are gonna be blown. You understand? They come from two different worlds, and I understand her pressures. What he's got to do right now is just be understanding of her plight. Yeah, it's not just about him and his parole. He's got to make sure that he's making time for her. He's got to make sure that he's reassuring her and saying that look, we're not going to stay forever. Listen, make sure you know we're not staying forever. I want to go home with you, etc., etc. Which he did say in the last episode, but we're going to make sure he's reassuring her with that, to let her know that listen, I'm on your side. This is temporary. We're going to move from here. Don't worry. We're not going to get stuck here. Yeah, so that she can feel a little bit of hope and feel as well like her man is taking control and she doesn't have to fear. On to that, I'm going to move on to that. I'm talking about obviously environments, and I think it's interesting that Quaylon and Chevelle, obviously Quaylon, obviously talking about environments, he was having trouble. I think it was in Kansas.
The reason I moved from Kansas City was so that when you're released, you would have a good start.
Right.
You wouldn't be around any of the people you knew or circumstances.
And he's now having back to Kansas with Chevelle. And I think his mum, obviously he's not very happy about it. His mum was on the rocks, man. She was trying to make sure that he was coming back with her. And I love the way that he put her in her place. He made sure she knew, hey, look, I'm grown. You got to trust me to be grown. You got to trust me to make the right choices here. I love you, mom, but I've got to do what I've got to do, right? And that is how you put your mum in your place or your dad in your place, to make sure they know you have your own mind. Because they need to know that they can trust you. They need to know that they can let the reins go. They need to know that you're going to make decisions that are going to be beneficial for your life. Because they don't want to be worrying about you every single day. And if you're not a person who's responsible for your decision making like he has done when you were 17, then yes, the mum will feel a certain type of way. But then there's a battle between the mum and obviously your girlfriend. And then obviously, like I said, you don't marry your girlfriend, you don't marry your mum, you marry your girlfriend. Do you understand? So, or your fiance, you're going to call it that. So he has to go with his fiance, which he did do. Obviously, then she said she wants to treat him like a king, shows him like a king. My problem here is that she's showing that she likes him more than he likes her, right? I'm going to treat you like a king, but you should always make sure that I'm treating you like a king, so also, respectively, you're going to treat me like a queen, because I am a queen, yeah? But treating him like a king and not having reciprocation is dangerous, because then you become a pauper, right? You become a subject of the kingdom, rather than being a quote equal, you understand? Yeah, so that was interesting as well. And I think what was interesting as well, we didn't get an answer to, is that they said obviously that he flipped at some point. He was 17-year-old getting into trouble. He was doing thieving to drugs, but he was getting straight A's, and then he went to prison. What made him flip? What made him change his nature? What made him change the way he was behaving? What made him concede the fact that he was getting A grades in school?
To more aggressive things like selling drugs. I went from going to school, making straight A's, to going to prison.
Whatever, and then goes into a life of crime. What was it that flipped him? And I love the fact that he said obviously he can't be he's not 16 anymore. He can't live in fear of getting in trouble, because he has to know how to be mature. He has to know how to handle himself. He has to know how to get out of certain situations. He has to know that. And the mum says she'll do as much as she must to keep her son off the wrong track. And I appreciate that. But he's saying, listen, I don't need that. I need you to be my mom, but I don't need you to try and dictate to me where I'm going. Don't control me. Don't be obtuse with my truth. Yeah. And I love the fact that he backed his woman.
To me. No.
Not at all. Not at all. I just don't want to go somewhere and she ain't comfortable there.
In front of his mum, he didn't let his mum trounce all over her. He backed his woman just like that. You know what I'm saying? I love the fact that, again, in the end, that the mum obviously offered the fact that, saying, listen, you are always going to be my son. You're always going to be part of my, my love, my joy, my hope. And I want to make sure the best for you. And I think he knows that. And it's good to have, and I think if you hadn't checked his mum, if you hadn't stood up to his mum, he would have been a mummy's boy. And that would have been dangerous, because then she has a greater voice in a relationship life than anybody else, right? Or than his partner, I should say. But the fact that he chose to stick down with the mum, but then went to the hotel room with his wife, kicked us all out of the room as well, was very self-explanatory, telling us, listen, hey, I make my own decisions. And
You to trust in me that I'm going to do the right thing. I need you to trust in me that I learned
The man needs to make his own decisions. Why? Because he will never learn any other way. Making your own decisions is important because it gives you a sense of responsibility and accountability, and also the reward. Reward if it actually works. If you said what you said and it works, fantastic, right? So he's taken his own situation and he's taking a bull by his horns and saying, this is what I want. And from that, there's obviously an action that comes from that, which is that he has to deny his mum. Why? Because he's grown, he's his own man, he's about his own business, right? So that's very, very, very important.
So that when you're released, you would have a good start.
Right.
You wouldn't be around any of, the people you knew or circumstances or situations.
Something was really interesting. So obviously, she will guarantee that obviously if he comes back with her, he won't be getting into any trouble. The truth of the matter is nobody can guarantee that. Why? Because getting into trouble oftentimes is free will. Oftentimes. There are other times where it's out of your control because someone does something to you and either it's like be killed or get killed. Like be killed or be killed. And when you're in that scenario, fam, you can think differently. When a gun's pointed at your head, when a knife's pointed at your head, completely different ball game. It can make you feel a certain way. If you've been robbed at gunpoint or robbed at from a crime, it can change your perspective very, very quickly, very innocently. Nobody's immune. No one's above the law. Anything can happen. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like anything can happen. So yeah, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for a notification of the uploads, and let us know your thoughts. What do you think about the love after lockup situation? We appreciate you. Stay locked.